disposal services. Contracts have language for automatic contract extensions upon terms agreeable to both parties. Staff will have more information available. Do we have any information available?
I do from Springer. Kathy and Sam both discussed this with him directly, because I wasn't really sure what council wanted to do. What he's done is he's basically agreed to the same terms that he had before, although there was this clause in his prosecution contract. And again, this is just for prosecutorial services. This isn't for our city engineer, our city attorney. We can talk about him in a minute. But he had a provision, like a 6-month clause. But the reason that he had that on his original contract is because he had been the city attorney as well, and so he felt the need to protect his, the costs that he had wrapped up in the attorney work that he was doing for the city at the time. But he's dropped that provision, and he's kept the hourly rate the same for the next 2 years. So I think it's a good price. I have a letter from police chief who thinks that we should stay with him. I've had conversations with Terry Chiglow about this on several occasions. He agrees that we should just stay with him because he's doing a good job and his close proximity to the courthouse. Now, these are professional service contracts. Council isn't required. There's no law that requires you to go out for services, to bid for them. But it is good every once in a while to take a look at it and make sure that we're getting fair value for the work that's being performed, so that if you do want to go out for RFPs, we can do so.
Basically, this is contract cleanup language as opposed to the last contract.
Correct. Same price.
It's staff's recommendation, chief's recommendation, and our civil attorney's recommendation to keep them.
Yes. And it's also my recommendation that we stay with Terry as our city attorney.
Do we want 2 different motions on this? Or?
Well, all I'm asking, we've got time. All I'm asking is if you want me to go out for RFPs, we need to do that like right now.
No.
No.
Okay.
I would move that we retain both Terry
And I would say hang on to that motion just for a second. Let me talk with Terry, make sure that I get a good price from him, and then I'll bring that back. Because if I don't feel that it is equitable, then we may want to make a different decision when it comes to that.
Well, you could do the Springer one now.
But you could do the spring one if you wanted, but I would, might as well just wait.
both at the same
Just
time.
do them both at the same time.
Okay. Good enough.
And then garbage, I haven't heard anything but good reports from the.
I didn't either.
I did get some stuff back from them, and I put together a little comparison, because they offered a different rate, and in our original contract, in our original contract, they could have been getting a 3% cost of living adjustment every year if we had a 3-year contract, but they never did it, or never asked for it. And now, the purple section down in the middle is their proposed new rate. So there are increases, but even if you go to the second page, that's where it really shows, even with increases in the recycling rate, the garbage rate, and all that, and the bag price, they are still considerably below what Waste Management's bid was 3 years ago. So, if we're happy with this company, and if this rate is still pretty darn cheap, you have the option in the current contract to just renew an existing contract that's in place. If you did want to go out for RFPs, then these dollars shouldn't be shared. I mean, these numbers that Hardis just gave us, that would be their quote for for another year. So we wouldn't want to share that with some other company. that wouldn't be fair.
I've been approached by Caledonia, that they've come down and wanna put in a bid.
Well-
Have you ever dealt with Caledonia before?
They have,
City of Caledonia?
No,
oh,
they're
I don't know what.
waste.
Richard Sanitation, that one? They were given an RFP 3 years ago, but they didn't complete it. So there may have been something in there that they couldn't perform that we wanted.
Well, Dewey down the Stumpy was the one that asked me.
Well,
Because
that's
they asked-
commercial though. We don't decide what happens to the commercial people. Commercial people, that's in the contract too. They can go
Wait
with
a minute,
anybody
wait a
they
minute.
want.
You're not understanding. The city of Caledonia, or not the city, but the waste management, whatever they call themselves over there,
Okay.
wanted to know when the contract is coming up here, because they wanted to bid on it.
I know, and I had a guy come in here and give me his card that he's interested in doing it. I'm just saying, you have the option of renewing your existing contract if you feel if you're happy with it, and if the renewal price is what you think is fair. If you wanna go out for an RFP, then we have to do it right away, and I'd have to get all these papers back again, so we don't share Carter's proposed new rate. And we have to start all over then and get prices from everybody that wants to. But generally, prices always go up when we go out for an RFP, they always do, but this rate he's giving you now, it's still well below what 3 years ago Waste Management was offering.
Was that the only two you got 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was, but we sent it out to about 4 different places. And part of the thing is that we wanted recycling and garbage, all picked up every week, to be picked up every week. And the bag system, some companies didn't want to do the bag system. And, some didn't wanna we do the billing here, and we get 50 cents per customer for doing the billing, but that way, we know for sure then that we're fulfilling the terms of our ordinance, which says everyone must pay for garbage service. And then your volume is paid for by however many bags you have to pay. If you have to buy 3 bags or 1 bag, So if you don't wanna pay more, then you recycle more, or you compost more, or you do something, to reduce your bag usage then.
I've only had 1 week, and that was last week that they didn't pick mine up. And the neighbors, Carol Wilson, call you?
Well, if people call in here, they come back.
Yeah, they come back, they
they'll
pick
come back,
theirs up, and
yeah.
I've already set mine in the garage, I seen the guy stop out there. I went out, and I was too late.
Yeah, they're really good
One
about
thing I
letting
think
us
that they're very good at is, and that's only happened, I think, maybe twice in the last 3 years,
Yeah, I
where
bet.
they don't have Main Street cleaned by 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, sometimes the truck fills up,
Yeah.
to come back, but they've been pretty good about doing it.
They're pretty good.
Well,
I've
even
never
when we
felt
had
that.
these big street projects going on, they worked really well with our contractors too, to be sure that everybody got their stuff picked up, even though they couldn't get on the street, so they walked some distance sometimes to be able to pick it all up.
So this one down there was, no excuse, just the 2 of us, Carol Wilson and I.
Yeah.
They picked the other side of the street up, but on our side.
New guy in the
Yeah.
job. I move that we accept Carter's for the garbage.
I'll second it. Motion by Mr. Dahl, second by,
So they offer this price at 3 years?
Yeah.
Is there going to be a cost of living in the new one?
They didn't mention that, but they didn't ask for it last time either. The other thing we had them give us a price for the lawn debris pickup stuff, and they never billed us for it.
Shouldn't you give Caledonia at least the courtesy of asking
well,
what their
we
rate
don't-
is?
if we're happy with what we got, Roger.
I said, give them the courtesy of asking.
Well,
But they're-
that's not that simple though, because